what's his name, the Controller and Auditor General wrote a report in 2010, and he said that the rate of growth in spending in recent years has exceeded 6% per annum. 6% more every year. And I can still see the headline in the JP. Front page. So that was the Controller and Auditor General. Then the Corporate Services Scrutiny Panel, to whom he was reporting, repeated his statement without checking it, and they said the same, and that got another headline. And then we have the Small Society, who are a group of business people. And they said in the executive summary of a document sent round to all states members, during the last 10 years, the states of Jersey's net revenue expenditure, so that's not capital, that's just the ongoing expenditure, has increased by almost 75% in the last 10 years. And today our government is spending more than ever before. I wrote to them pointing out that their figures were wrong. And then we have a Small Society group member who also wrote to all states members. The effect has been that state spending has doubled in 10 years, far outstripping inflation. Not true. Not true. Then we have Senator Ozu replying to a written question, to an oral question. The state spending has risen above that of above income. State spending has risen by 30% over the last 5 years. 30% over the last 5 years. Headline in the JP, front page. 6.7% in 2009, a further 6% in 2010. I could not believe these things. 6% a year? I don't remember the extra taxes to go with 6% a year. So I asked a written question, being Daniel, and I said, can we have the details of this increase? And he produced, Senator Rosa produced, the Treasury Minister, produced a lot of tables, a long table of where the money, the extra money was. And I looked at it line by line. Half of it was due to inflation. Does the Treasury Minister not know inflation? Does it inflation? But he included that in his 30%. Half was due to inflation. 13 million was transfers from capital to revenue because they changed the accounting system. So if you want a new incinerator, then that would, well, I'll leave that out. If you want a new school, then that would be transferred. What am I talking about? Capital to revenue? No, there are some things that were in the capital budget and then went into the revenue budget. And he included those, but it's just an accounting thing, it's not an increase. 8.5 million was for pandemic flu, well that doesn't happen every year, and the ending of the reciprocal health agreement. Do you remember that? Funny weeds, whereby we were fiddling 4 million a year against the poor UK lot, because we weren't spending as much on looking after people who got sunburnt on the beach as they were on looking after us when we got ill and went to Southampton. So 8.5 million was for one-offs. He didn't explain any of this. The answer didn't explain how this increase came about. And it wasn't 30% over the last 6 years. And it ain't just me, because the Fiscal Policy Panel, which consists of economists, professional economists with reputations to protect, said that between 2001 and 2007, expenditure increased by less than 1% a year in real terms. Whereas we are told by Senator Shenton, I think it was, that it's out of control. It's increasing by a lot in those years. Less than 1% a year in real terms. In that time, the population was going up by far more than 1% a year. Far more. So, the expenditure was increasing less fast than population. So the amount being spent per head was actually reducing in that time. And between 2007 and 2010, it rose at around 3.3% a year, not the Treasury Minister's 6% a year. And so it goes. So what we hear, what we read in the paper, and it's repeated in the other two media, because Jersey has a very, very tiny media sector, we get this one idea put to us, and it's take it or leave it. And it takes someone who can see that it's actually one viewpoint, and they've captured the entire debate. So there isn't a debate. But this is a fundamental issue. How much do we spend? Do we want... Look at all the stuff about child and adolescent mental health. Totally underfunded. because the demand is going up and they just haven't caught up. So that is an example of not giving the public the information they need, not having a proper debate, so that it's railroaded into one direction. Now, you may agree or not with the direction, that doesn't matter. What matters is that we, the public, don't have the wherewithal to have a discussion about it, and I think that's dishonest, because somebody is in their interest to railroad the debate and capture it so that there isn't a debate. So, comments? Questions?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment.
Yeah.